Hey yo, LAZ, Z-Man, Suicide Polo with the ski man, you already know. Know what I mean? I just gotta give dudes a warning, you feel me? You know when it's a shadow story, when you see it's a new shadow story on the channel, the story might get a little crazy, might be a little extra wild and brutal. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just giving y'all dudes a heads up. But make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all check that playlist, new and recent episodes only, so you can make sure you ain't miss nothing. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so that you get a notification anytime I upload anything. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna send that straight to your phone. Boom. LAZ just dropped something. Yersk. But yeah, man, get at me, man. Know what I mean? Hit me up for that promo. If you need that promo, send me an email at lastbeats@gmail.com. You heard? Send me a message and tell me what you need. And that's a fact. You heard? It's a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of heavy hitting stories dropping. This is one of them. You heard? Make sure y'all check the Bro Shadow YouTube page too, because you know he is certified personal trainer in several types of trainings. You heard? So make sure y'all subscribe to his page, follow the bro, and tell him LAZ sent you.
After I stabbed him, I turned around and started stabbing everybody in front of me, turned back, and I was periodically going back and forth. I would stab the person in front of me, stab the person behind me, stab the person in front of me. I ended up stabbing like 8 dudes, man.
So the situation happened with you when you had been in Comstock for a while, or when you first got there?
Nah, well, it happened after I had been there for a while, right? So pretty much I got there, if I remember correctly, it was sometime in 2003, I came out the box, right? And Blue Boy and them had just left. They had a little incident over there. The Lokes had an incident. Blue Boy and them got shipped up out of there. A couple months after that, I came in. So it's supposed to be a thing where no Crips can stay in the jail, right? So I get there, I first get there, dudes is body bluffing or whatever. And nothing happened, right? I approach a couple cats, we talk or whatever, shit was cool. So I'm there, I get it established. Like, I had it all love, man. The Lokes and the Bloods was, like, we got this thing called Trade Day on August 3rd. So I was there because I got there right before summer hit, right? So when August swung around, I told the Lokes, like, yo, man, we gonna do Trade Day in the yard, bring cakes and shit out, because you can do that in Comstock. You can bring cakes out to the yard, stuff like that. And when the dudes, the Lokes bringing shit out, the Bloods had seen it, so they was asking dudes what it was. I was like, yo, it's Trade Day. Y'all, more than welcome to come down and get something. So after that, every Sunday, the Lokes and the Bloods would have basketball games together. Like, I had it rocking smooth there for a while. Right? I was there for about a year. So now we get a couple months in.
Now hold on, not to interrupt you, but other Crips was there too. Like, how many Crips was in the jail at that time?
When I first got there might have been like 2 or 3 dudes. My man Tuto, he had been there when Blue Boy was there. And when Blue Boy, he got caught up in the shit with Blue Boy and them, but they didn't ship him out. He didn't get shipped out of the jail. He stayed there. And the Rat Hunters was holding him down. So, anybody been in the state, know that Bloods didn't want no smoke with the Rat Hunters at that time right there. They probably still don't want no smoke with him now. But Rat Hunters was holding him down, so he was good. Quick came in. Short, I think either Quick got there right behind me or right before me. Right? And he a thorough dude. So it was just like the way things fell into place. It might have been 3 dudes there when I got there, but while I was there, we had a couple thorough dudes came in the building, and we was all holding each other down, right? So, like I said, we was doing the picnic. Like, I ain't gonna call it a picnic. We in prison and shit, but like every Sunday, we was doing the thing, right? Like, the Lokes and the Bloods would have basketball games together. Everybody bringing out cakes and shit like that. Cool. we all used to go down to the more science classes on Sunday mornings and chop it up, right? Dudes go down there, learn some shit. Cause brothers, they got some brothers in the prison system that's deep, so we learning about all kind of shit, historic shit, revolutionary shit, legal shit, business stuff, and after about maybe 9 months, you know, they had a couple blood dudes come in the spot. Now, first I'm gonna say you had some thorough blood dudes there, right? Because I ain't trying to take nothing from nobody, right? Bazaar was there. Dude Germ was there. Jamaican Germ. He was a GF of one of them Stone Hoods, some shit like that. My boy Frank White was there. Who else? I can't remember everybody because this was a long motherfucking time ago. Oh, Master P, my boy Baby, brother, he was there. Right, but you had quite a few thorough blood dudes there too. They was older and really wasn't feeling the whole black on black violence shit or whatever the case, right? And that helped make it work. So I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like I came in and shook everybody the fuck up. It was just some dudes was there that they wasn't with the shit, but they couldn't respect some of the, some of the blokes that had come through before. And Blue Boy not being one of those, you know, everybody respect Blue Boy, homie, super official, right? So after we there, particular individual came through and starts rabble rousing, right? Now before him, other bloods had come in and was like, when they seen what was going on, they tried to stir up some shit. Dudes would be like, nah, man, it's all love here. Everybody cooling or whatever the case, and they would pretty much shut that shit down. But this particular individual, he had some status, right? And he's a big mouth. So he was really pushing the issue, right? And what kind of added fuel to the fire was that we had a kid there named Beanie Low. He was G-Stone Crip. That's what G-Stone is now, to get straight. That you see a lot of these rap dudes just get straight. But before they was called G-Stone. So Beanie was G-Stone, and he had like 2 or 3 G-Stone dudes there with him. And there's a blood hood called Stone, right? So for whatever reason, Beanie decided to start screaming out Stone love, and they, you know, responsibly Stone loyalty. So up to that point, like, he had been doing it for a while, right? And it was never an issue. But now we got the new dude in the building, and he's making an issue of it, right? Now, dudes have spoken to Beanie before, and like, yo, Stone is not a Crip thing, man, right? Like, you really shouldn't be doing that. Before the Bloods even said anything to him, me and Duto and Quick had spoke to him about it, right? But he was young, you know what I mean? He was feeling himself or whatever the case. So, you know, he kept on with the nonsense. And dudes used that as an excuse. Right, the big mouth dude, he used that as an excuse.
Now, what you mean? Like, you mean just because he was saying that?
Yeah, because it was like they was taking it as a disrespect.
Well, he was doing it like in the cell, mad loud, or in the yard, or what?
Yeah, he was screaming that shit across the mess hall. Right, like he's on one tier, one of his people's on another tier, so they come in, he's screaming across the mess hall, Stone love, and they screaming back, Stone loyalty. And the Bloodstone dudes, they wasn't feeling it, right? But like I said, it wasn't a new thing, right? He'd been doing it for, I could say maybe about a month, right? Because we tried it when he first got there, we shut it down, right? Because nothing to do with the Bloods, that's not a low hood, right? That's not a low hood. So he's like, yo, that shit is not official. That's some Blood shit. You sound like a Blood saying that. Cut that shit out, right? And for a long time, like, he agreed, right? But a couple of his people came, and you know how that is. Motherfuckers start getting numbers, they start acting stupid, right? So he started feeling himself, and the Blood dudes wasn't digging it or whatever the case. And like I said, this one dude in particular, he was using their dissatisfaction to stir the pot even more, right? So he kept telling dudes like, yo, because I had Blood dudes coming to me telling me what this dude was doing, right? He's like, yo, I just left Clinton, the big homies would have never allowed this and this, that, and the third, and yada, 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 right? So, it was during Ramadan. Now we in 2004, right? It's during Ramadan. I remember this shit like it was yesterday. It was October 31st, 2004, right? And fucking, the reason I remember is because all right, so I was in the mosque, right? Fasting or whatever. I had a wicked bad headache, man. And I remember going to the pig and asking him if he had Tylenol in the booth, right? In Comstock in the mosque, right before you go into the mosque, there's like a vestibule area, and right off to the left of the vestibule area, there's a little office, right? So I went and asked him if he had some meds in there, whatever, some aspirin, and he came at me sideways, right? So I was going to let it go, but I'm like, nah, I went back over there. I was like, yo, man, I should break your fucking jaw. You ever talk to me like that, spags on? They keep locking, right? So boom, they take me up to the cell and keep lock. So now as I'm keep locked, at the same time in the yard, the bloods moved on the lokes, right? Boom, they start hitting the lokes or whatever the case. So I'm hearing about this shit in my cell, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck, right? And the reason I remember the date, getting back to that, is because Cass was telling me the O in October, and it was the 31st or 031, which was some shit the Bloods used to say. I don't know if they still say it or not, right? But 031 was a thing among the Bloods. So dudes said that was why the shit happened, right? Later on, I start finding out that was some made up shit, but it was the dude Beanie, between Beanie with his stone shit and the other dude pushed the button to send some dudes at Beanie, knowing that we couldn't just let that happen, right? And that set the whole shit off. So now I'm on keep lock. I'm keep lock for 15 days, right? And during that time, a lot of the lokes went out, man.
What they did something to the kid Beanie though? They cut him or stabbed him?
Yeah, Beanie got scratched, right? A couple other dudes got hit. Quick put some major work in, right? Quick put work in. I'm trying to remember this little light school. It was a little light skinned dude from Yonkers. I can't think of his goddamn name, but he put some work in.
Who you talking about? Critter?
Nah, but Quick is Critter cousin. Critter wasn't there with me, right? Shout out to Critter. That's official loc too, right? But it was only like 20 of us in the whole jail, right? Out of the 20, I'm gonna say 15 dudes got busy, right? Boom. The rest of the dudes, yo, man, one dude gave a big homie blood dude his mother-in-law address so he could stay in the jail, all kind of wild shit, right? So now I get off key lock. I got off key lock on the Saturday, right? And dude, the whole time I'm hearing like, yeah, yo, Shadow, get off key lock. We gonna do this. We gonna do this. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I get off key lock on the Saturday. I go out to the yard, right? My man Jimbo come up. He's like, yo, Shadow, you heard? I'm like, yeah, I know dude's supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. It's to the point you got dudes don't even want to spin the yard with me, right? My man Tuto put work in too, right? Shout out to Tuto. So I'm in the yard. The Bloods don't do nothing. They talked all that shit while I was keep locked. I'm in the yard. I stayed out the whole rec period. Nobody did nothing, right? I'm like, all right, cool. So now, I skipped the part. While I was on keep lock, after all that shit happened, my man Pretty Black from No String, he bought me a flathead, right? So now I'm armed, but I couldn't get the flathead to the yard because, you know, you got to walk through the magnometer or whatever the case. But remember, I said earlier, we always used to go down to the Morris Science Temple on Sunday mornings. I knew that all of them was going to be down there, so I got off on the Saturday, went to the yard, nothing happened, right? Boom. That Sunday morning, I went to the Morris Science Temple. Now, to get to the Morris Science Temple, they call that the basement, right? In the school building area. So you got to walk straight down this corridor, right? Then the law library is on your right. When you get toward the end of the corridor, there's a doorway there, big enough for one man to fit through at a time. On the other side of that door, you walk a couple paces, the door to the Morris Science Temple is right there. Now, this is important because dude, I'm a strategic thinker, right? Like, I love The Art of War. I grew up reading that book and other books like it, right? So I'm always thinking on how to use my environment to my advantage, right? I knew that door right there would be my best chance. I had to get some get back for the Lokes, and I had to make sure that these dudes understood that I was upset with the fact that they let this dude come in here and fuck up what we had going, right? But I couldn't be stupid, right? Because that don't accomplish nothing. So I go down to the Morris Science Temple. I'm gripped up. I got the flathead I got from Pretty Black. Boom. We could sit through the class. Matter of fact, my boy Bougie from the Bronx, he was teaching the class that day, right? Shout out to Bougie. And we fucking, when the class was over, I sat there for a second, let some of the bloods leave out. I know how they think, right? Boom. Before you get to the turn off, all right, so when you come in, you walk straight down, right? There's it's a door to one of the recreation areas for the honor block, right? You walk a little bit past that, it's a right turn to go to the gym. Walk past that, it's the door to the law library. Boom, a little bit past it, not even like a half step past that is the door to go past back where the Morris Science Temple is at, right? There's a bathroom though up toward the front. So knowing how they think, I'm like, all right, cool. They gonna send the shooter up to the bathroom, tell them hide in the store, and wait for you to walk past, right? Because they don't, most of them, again, I ain't saying all blood, the vast majority of them, right? They're not going to shoot you straight up. They're not going gun to gun with you, none of that shit right there, right? So I sat for a second, let a couple of them walk in front of me. I got up and left. Now all the big homies, they stayed back because they don't want to be up toward the front where the drama was supposed to happen at, so that way they don't get caught up in it, right? So now they in the back with me, right? So when we leave, I walk through that door, and as soon as I got through the door, I turned around and stabbed the first dude coming through the door. Boom. His natural reaction is to try to run away from the knife. So he's running back toward the door, which means that the people on the other side of the door can't get through. After I stabbed him, I turned around and started stabbing everybody in front of me, turned back, and I was periodically going back and forth. I would stab the person in front of me, stab the person behind me, stab the person in front of me. I ended up stabbing like 8 dudes, man. Right? Boom. And a lot of them was big homies. I hit one civilian dude by accident, though. I hit him in his hand, but that was, like I said, that was an accident. It was unintentional. But, you know, like I said, man, the big homies that stayed toward the back, logic would have dictated, right? See, how people normally work when they're afraid, I should have tried to get the fuck out of that class as soon as possible, right? So they was expecting me to be toward all the way toward the front to try to beat the crowd, right? Again, like I said, man, I'm a strategic thinking dude. I knew that that's what they would be thinking because that's what a regular person would do, right? An untrained person would do, right? I didn't do that. I knew they was going to send the shooter to the front, expecting me to be in the front. I knew that they would hang back because they don't want to get shot by accident and they don't want to get accidentally caught up in the nonsense and end up with a ticket to go into the box when they didn't do shit, right? So boom, I stayed back there with them. And like I said, man, only one man could come through that door at a time. So I stabbed a dude, he trying to run back through the door. I turn around, stab somebody else, reach over, turn back around toward the door, reach over the dude there, stab somebody else, turn back. And I just did that, man, until I heard the, they pulled the button or whatever. I fucking, threw the gun. Now to get to the gym, there's a little fence right there, right? So I threw the shit over that little fence, put my hands on the wall, the police came, boom. I'm not bleeding. They took out the people that was bleeding, and they let us walk back. So now when you get toward the front of the basement, there's a gate on the front door to go out into the main corridor. So now we in that area is me, Germ, couple other dudes, right? So Germ is like, yo, that was some crazy shit. I'm like, yeah, that was some crazy shit. And I punched him right in his fucking mouth. Right, boom. So now I get him, and it's a couple other dudes with him. So now we just going with the hands, though. But like I said before, if you see my YouTube channel, man, I've been training my whole life. Like violence, I'm very adept at violence, right? So, and they weren't. So that wasn't nothing, man. The fight didn't last long anyway. It was about a minute or so. Police came, put us on the wall. Germ had a bloody mouth. Another dude had it was a bad situation, right? Boom. And I went to the box from there for that shit right there, man. Right? But yeah, that was Comstock, man. 2004 right there. You know, that's when I was the issue with the Bloods before that, but that's when I was like worldwide food, right? Because like I said, a lot of big homies got hit dead, and they couldn't just let that shit rock like that. But that was it. That was pretty much that.
And how do dudes feel about that situation nowadays? Like, have you ever ran in contact with any of those dudes, or set aside y'all differences, or like?
Well, right immediately after the shit, like, you know, they didn't just take me straight up to the box because they didn't have me for a weapon. Like I said, I had to do the weapon over the thing. The second part of that was all hands, right? So I was in my cell for a couple days before they moved me over the long term and then shipped me out to the box. Umar from Brooklyn, that was my neighbor. So Umar told me he went out to the yard that evening. He said, yo, homie, he came back laughing. He's like, yo, homie, you got niggas in the yard dropping their flag, man. Right? Because the Bloods was supposed to be like the big dog. Right? Nobody went at the Bloods. They went at everybody. Everybody was supposed to be too scared to go at the Blood. So you had a lot of dudes that became Blood. And this is where Blood started going wrong, in my opinion, because they started letting anybody be Blood. Right? First generation, second generation, most of them dudes are shooters. Right? After that, they start like just letting anybody be Blood. And dudes was joining Blood because they figured that was a way to be safe. But now that incident right there showed them, all right, we not safe. You got motherfuckers that don't give a fuck about our numbers. So dudes was in the yard dropping flags and shit like that. And I seen dudes after that, and like some dudes laughed at the shit. I had one dude, man, wanted to turn Crip. He was Blood. He wanted to be Crip after that because he was like, yo, that was some gangster shit, right? That's just, you know. But another dude, he was one of the dudes that got stabbed, and I seen him in Bear Hill. Now for years, because like I said, that was 2004. I didn't get to Bear Hill until 2014, right before I came home. And all these years though, I'm getting word that, you know, when he see me, what he gonna do to me and all this extra shit. But when I got to Bear Hill, as soon as that motherfucker found out I was in Bear Hill, he sent me a kite. Like, yo, Shadow, let's just talk. Could you meet me in the yard, whatever, yada, yada, yada. We go out to the yard and talk. And nigga, he didn't want no problem. Right? Let me tell you something, man. Right? Despite what the angry white female, like, you know, this narrative, yo, man, people that was in the state, when I was in the state, no, man. There wasn't a whole bunch of people who wanted no problems with me, man. Right? That shit right there was not a singular incident. It was many times dudes would talk shit about what they gonna do when they see me, and then they see me and they want to be my motherfucking friend, man. Right? Yo, so you know.
Let me ask you, when you said you dude passed you off a flathead, you talking about just a banger that was not an ice pick, or you talking about a screwdriver flathead?
Nah, I'm talking about a banger that wasn't an ice pick.
Right,
it was just like a knife, but it just, you know, was pointy. It didn't have a cutting edge.
It was wide and all of that?
Yeah, it had a nice head on it. Like, shit was decent, man. Word, shit was decent. So, them pokes was hurting. Word, them pokes was hurting. And again, like I said, I've been training my whole life. So a lot of dudes, man.
How bad did dudes get stabbed up? Now, when you was stabbing dudes up, was you just, you knew what you was doing, or was you purposely not trying to catch nobody, or was you just, you feel me, you was just going spontaneously?
Nah, well, you gotta keep in mind, I used to homie, dig it, right? For a long time, I'm gonna say this, my wife saved my life, right? Because before I met my wife, I thought I was going to die in prison. Like, I was just going to be in prison until I, died of old age or somebody killed me. I didn't have any real expectations of ever coming home, right? So killing another motherfucker didn't mean shit to me, right? And again, I don't do shit haphazard, right? So when I stab, I know where to stab. I'm trying to hit you in your eye. I'm trying to hit you on the side of the neck because I know that the carotid arteries are on either side of the neck. If I got something that's big enough, I'm trying to hit you right behind your fucking your clavicle because I know the subclavicle is back there. I want to make you bleed to death, man. Right? I'm trying to make sure. Yo, my thing was always, if you don't die, you're gonna understand that you made a mistake and you ain't gonna never fuck with me again. I can legit say, and there are people who can testify to this, man. There's nobody, right, that I ever did something to that wanted a problem with me after I did it to him, man. Right? And motherfuckers will testify to that. Right? Dudes will testify to that. The only motherfucker that ever tried me after I did something to him, I feel he only did it because instead of going at him the way I would have, I tried to give him a break because I was getting ready. I thought I was going to go home, right? That was in 1999. And no, I'm lying. That was 98, I want to say, in Martian Correctional Facility. And I blew his motherfucking head off. And the motherfucker told on me. Right? That's the only dude that tried me. Right? No, matter of fact, that's not even true. Motherfucking, the dude Ragtop and another motherfucker tried me in the hallway one day and they both got shot right there. I had cut both of them on separate occasions. They tried to do a motherfucking team up on me, and they still came out on the shitty end of that. And after that, neither one of them motherfuckers wanted this issue. Right? So, yeah, man, like...
What you mean? What you mean? They both got cut again?
Yeah. Yo, lads, like I said, man, you homie, on some serious shit. I go to camps now, right? When I'm teaching knife tactics to motherfuckers in the military, right? I got people that pay me to do seminars to teach them how to use a knife, right? I've always had a fast hand. I've always been accurate. Man, yo, bro, man, this shit ain't a game, man, right? And it was never a game for me, right? Like I said, I didn't expect to go home. So I didn't give a fuck about what I did to somebody, right? It wasn't until I met my wife that I was like, all right, cool. And even then, when I met her, I was still a little stupid. She put her foot down and was like, yo, you gotta make a choice. She's like, yo, I understand. You wanna be loyal to your peoples? I get that. So, but you got a family now. So you gotta choose. I'm not gonna be a jailhouse wife. You either gonna be loyal to me and your son, or you're gonna be loyal to them dudes in prison. And if you wanna be loyal to them, I respect it, but I can't be with you. And if you're going to be loyal to us, then you need to start getting your shit together so you can get the fuck out of prison.
Right? How much time you had?
I went to jail with 8 years. I ended up doing 24 years with parole time left when I came home. I had an 8 and 24. So my max should have been 24. My 24 became my CR, man. Me and Fruit CR together in fucking Queensboro Correctional Facility. We both came home twice. We came home twice together from Queensboro Correctional Facility. Right? Big Fruit. Shout out to Big Fruit, the Big Fruit podcast. Right? But yeah, homie. Like, yo, man.
So you got 8 years good time taken away?
8 years? Nah, homie. Do the math, right? 24 years became my CR date, man. I still owe time when I came home. 24 was supposed to be my max.
Oh, you talking about from new charges?
Yeah, for new charges. Oh, come on, man.
How many new charges you caught while you was up top?
About, I think, I'm going to say 3. Right? 3 new charges. One of them on Rikers Island. Right? We spoke about that before. Right? And matter of fact, that was for one of the dudes that tried to do the team up. Right? I caught a new charge for him on Rikers Island. Right? And the other charges I caught up top, man. Like I said, dude that tried me in Marcy. After I clipped his wings, this motherfucker, he pressed charges. He made no secret of the fact that he was pressing charges. Right? I caught a new charge at Auburn. right? That was the shit with the police. They threw out the assault on police charge and left me with the weapon charge, right? And I caught a charge for, this shit was Orleans. No, not Orleans. It was Auburn, Marcy, Rikers Island. That was it. Them 3 charges right there. Huh?
And you could have, so your original CR was 14. How much was your original CR?
Our original CR was 16.
Oh, 16?
Yeah.
And you ended up doing the whole 20, you ended up doing 24 and then coming home on parole time?
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, again, man, like I say, man, anybody that was in the state when I was in the state, man, right? No. That shit that the angel, what do you call them? Single white female? They be talking about, man, dude was nobody. Right? He was nobody. He got by on the strength that he was from Brooklyn. Everybody know that in prison, Brooklyn is like a gang, man. You from Brooklyn, you getting some shit, motherfuckers is coming to the yard. Right? But blood dudes will testify to what I was doing. You got Latin Kings that will testify to what I was doing. You got new motherfuckers, Shadow was putting that work in, man. Right? And I didn't give a fuck where I caught you at, in front of the captain's steps, wherever the fuck I caught you at, you was gonna get got. So I didn't think I was ever coming home, man. I thought I was gonna die in prison, so I was cool with that. Right? That's how ignorant I was. I was cool with the fact that I would never come home. Right? My wife showed me I could be better than that. Right? And so I'm cool. You know, since I've been home now. I came home December 23rd, 2014, and I caught 1 violation, right? It turned into a violation. It wasn't even charged at first. Dudes called themselves robbing me. One of the dudes had a knife. I disarmed the nigga with the knife and stabbed his ass with his own knife, and they put me in jail for it. I took it to trial and I won, right? And
dudes tried to rob you. What they was trying to rob you for?
I was working for Zales at the time, so it's a whole big story with that shit, right? But long story short story variable. Dude that my wife and I was trying to help him and his family start feeling the way because of the shit his wife used to say to him, right? She used to always compare him to me like, yo, this dude just came home. Homie, I came home. My uncle gave me a fucking, a Tahoe, right? Boom. From there I had a Denali. From there I had a Suburban, right? Like I've been driving pretty much since I've been home, man. Right? Always had a good job. I made sure my wife and my kid was taken care of. You know. Like look at now. I run 2 businesses, my own businesses now. Right? I work for me. Right? This after doing 24 years in prison. Right? 25 if we count the year violation. So, dude ain't never been to jail. And he a fake gangster rapper or whatever the case. And his wife used to always tell him shit like, yo, Ken is a real man. Why you ain't like him? You should be more like him. This. Motherfucker, you tired of hearing that shit. Right? So he went, recruited another motherfucker. Right? And as fate would have it, they was both blood. Right? And like I said, I was working for Zales at the time. And I guess he must have convinced the other dude that I bring diamonds home from work or some shit. I don't know what the motive. I don't know what the other dude's motive. I know what his motive was. Right? He was thinking he was gonna make an example out of me to show his wife that I wasn't the man she thought I was, or whatever the case. And the shit backfired. Right? Let's say the dude with the knife, I took the knife from him, gave it that right back to him, put that shit in his lungs, boom. And they put me in jail for it, man. Both of them motherfuckers made statements. Both of them went to the grand jury. One of them came to trial, right? But it was justifiable use of lethal force, man. It's 2 of them. They had a weapon. I was justified. If I'd have pulled the bazooka out of my pocket and blew them motherfuckers up, I'd have been justified at that point.
How you disarmed them with the knife, though? Like, would he try to swing it at you, or you just grabbed it immediately?
Nah, he swung it at me, right? So what they did with the one dude that I knew, he distracted me, right? So when I went to look at him, I caught the movement from the other dude out the corner of my eye. He swung it the first time and I moved. When he swung, he had it in the ice pick grip, which means the blade, the tip was pointing down, right? Like he was making a fist. Like the Michael Myers guy they stabbed in the horror movies.
I heard
right?
that's dangerous to try to stab somebody like that because that's the easiest way to get disarmed.
It's dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, right? But when he swung the second time, it would be easier for me to show you. But I call it a Filipino handshake. That's not the technical name for it, right? But basically, what you do is you shoot your hand in so that your wrist connects to his, like, we make contact with his wrist, and the blade of the knife is pretty much on the back of your forearm. And then you bring your elbow close to your ribs, which turns the blade in his hand. He's gonna lose the knife because it makes the weapon go toward his thumb, and the thumb is the weak point of the hand when you go for a disarm, right? So boom, I did it, boom, and put the knife right. So when I did it, as the knife is coming loose, I'm using my left hand to do the disarm. I catch the knife in my right hand and I stabbed him in his fucking lung, right? And this motherfucker who was just telling me a second before that how he was gonna kill me started screaming. He started screaming about how he was dying. Oh my God, yo.
So what you did? You stayed on the scene or you bounced?
Nah, I stayed. I was justified. Right? Like, you know, yo, homie, the last thing I thought.
And the other dude bounced, the other dude ran?
The other dude couldn't go nowhere. No, nobody was going anywhere, bro. Like I said, I spent my whole life, man. I was watching the show last night, right? And the dude said, be mindful of provoking a man to violence when that man has spent his whole life perfecting the art of violence. That's me, man. Right? That's my whole life. Right? When I was in prison, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't drink hooch, none of that shit. I trained all the time. Fruit mentioned it one time. He's like, your shadow was always on some combat shit. And that's a fact, man. Any jail I was in, you find me working out, hitting the heavy bag. If I came across dudes who were good with their hands and they knew something I didn't, I'm like, all right, let's do a quick report. I'll teach you something, you teach me something. I was always looking to enhance my skill set, right? Always looking to enhance my skill set. That's been me my whole life. That hasn't changed. I'm still the same way, right? So, yeah, wasn't nobody going nowhere, man, right? I just didn't think, if I had been thinking like a criminal and not a civilian, I would have left. Right, but that would have looked bad for me because then I would have probably blew trial, right? Once they caught me, because you ain't getting away with too much in Binghamton, right? But you know, I stood there thinking, yo, I'm a civilian. It's obvious that I couldn't start this, but because I'm the violent felon and neither of these dudes had felon, it didn't make a difference that they was gangbangers. It didn't make a difference that two of them attacked me. None of that shit, right? Because they was corroborating each other's story, and according to their story, I just attacked them for no reason. Right? But once we got in the trial and motherfucking stories wasn't matching up and all kind of other shit, I was found to be justified, man. Right? So, you know, all praise be to Allah for that. You feel me? Because that shit could have went a whole another way, man. My offer was 15, man. They was trying to get me to cop the 15. They was talking about giving me a fresh 25, man, if I had a blue trial.
And you have been long, how long you have been home?
I had been home. That happened in 2017. I came home December 23rd, 2014. That was April 30th, 2017. Word. I remember I had just took my fucking daughter. Me and my wife had took my son. We only had the two kids at the time. My daughter Miracle and my son Messiah. We had just took them to the fucking circus a couple days before that, man. Word. You know? So, yeah, man, shit was crazy. But like I said, they punished me for beating trial because apparently my lawyer told me, right? Shout out to David Butler, best lawyer in Binghamton, man. Motherfucker ever getting some shit in Binghamton, go to David Butler, right? But he had told me that because a black person hadn't beaten trial in Binghamton in like 50 years or some shit, they couldn't just let that shit rock. So even though I was justified, parole still violated me, man. Talking about curfew.
Why, it happened at nighttime?
Yeah. So, Mind you, up to that point, I had never had a violation, nothing, man. They had me reporting once every 2 months. Like, I was supposed to get off parole early. I went to trial in December, and I was supposed to get off parole in December early. They was gonna let me off parole early that December. So I'm like, all right, I beat trial. I should still get off parole early. Nah, they served me, man. They sent me up north for 15 months. You know? But, so that's a whole situation right there. But, you know, game ain't never fair for us, man.
Where they sent you? Where you had to do that violation at?
They sent me. I went to Elmira first because, you know, I'm in Binghamton, so they didn't send me through downstate. I went through Elmira. I sat in Elmira for a while, and then from Elmira I went to they sent me back to Queensboro because I had laid up in the county jail for a year fighting the case, or damn near a year fighting the case. I think I sat up there for like 10 months or some shit, right? And I was in Elmira reception for way too long. I was in Elmira reception for like 4 months, man. And then I finished up in Queensboro. Let me see. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I was in the county for 8 months. I sat in Elmira for about 3-4 months, right? And then I finished up in Queensboro.
How that Binghamton County was? It was jumping off in there?
Hell no, man. Yo, let me tell you something, right? And for any of the naysayers, my disciplinary history is up online on my Instagram, right? You want to see it? You can go see it. You also see it on my Facebook page. The reason I'm saying that is this: when I first got there, when you get to Binghamton County Jail, they put you in FPOD, right? That's like the reception. Then they, you know, you go through a whole process and whatever while they try to figure out where to put you. Yo, I sat in that motherfucker for almost 3 weeks because they didn't know where to put me. The fucking dude came to my cell and was like, listen, man, we never had nobody in this jail with a disciplinary history like yours. We don't know what to do with you. If we put you in population, are you going to chill? I was like, yeah. They put me in population. I was chilling for damn near the whole time I was there. Maybe a month before